Mazu belief and customs. Esteemed by both official authorities and ordinary folk, Mazu is the most influential navigation goddess of the sea. Originally named Lin Monyang, Mazu was born on March the 23rd, 960 AD, according to the lunar calendar, on Meizhou Island in Putian City, Fujian Province. Throughout her entire life, Mazu helped her fellow townspeople by forecasting the weather, making medicines, curing patients, and saving lives from shipwrecks. It was also said that once she set her own house on fire so that the flames would guide merchant ships that had become lost at sea. On September the 9th, 987 AD, according to the lunar calendar, she sacrificed her life at the age of just 28 when trying to save lives from a shipwreck. Local residents then built a temple in memory of this beautiful, virtuous and kind lady. They started to worship her as the goddess of the sea. Later on, the imperial governments from various dynasties bestowed on Mazu the title of Heavenly Concubine, Heavenly Queen and Holy Mother 36 times in all. As maritime activities flourished, Mazu temples were established in port cities all over the world, following in the footprints of Chinese emigrants. For instance, the Portuguese name for the city of Macau came from the pronunciation of the word Mazu Pavilion. Mazu belief and customs have spread to over 20 countries and regions. She's worshipped by more than 200 million followers in more than 5,000 Mazu temples around the globe even today. Worship of her gradually becoming a mainstream belief, as well as part of the public cultural heritage in regions where the belief is particularly strong. Mazu belief and customs are a folk culture dedicated to the worship and praise of Mazu's grace, benevolence and philanthropy. Mazu palaces and temples are the major venue for various activities manifested in relevant customs, temple fairs and folk tales. Mazu belief and customs primarily consist of worshipping ceremonies, folk customs and folk tales. Worshipping ceremonies can either be a family sacrifice or a temple sacrifice. The worship of Chuanzaima is regarded as one of the most primitive forms of Mazu belief and customs in terms of family sacrifice. In it, the sculpture of Mazu will be placed on a boat so as to pray for peace and a safe voyage. Later on, this evolved into placing the Mazu sculpture at a family's residence or even in the automobile, or the family making a direct sacrifice to the sea, praying for peace. Meanwhile, a daily temple sacrifice often includes acts such as offering floral tributes, lighting incense and candles, as well as letting off firecrackers. Such a ceremony primarily includes the following formalities: priests in waiting, welcoming the goddess, lighting incense, reciting the eulogy, performing a 3-time offering, genuflecting 3 times, kowtowing 9 times, and finally seeing the goddess off. The moderator from the first Mazu temple on Meizhou Island will be the chief priest, while representatives from other Mazu temples will act as attending priests. There will be sacrificial utensils such as candlesticks, incense burners and drums and bells on the altar, with hundreds of kinds of marine animals and mountain landscapes constructed from powder, shiitake mushrooms and jelly fungi. The honor guards will carry flags, carriages and ancient weapons. For sacrificial music, musicians will perform musical pieces with local melodies and tunes, using 28 different traditional Chinese instruments. These include the suona horn, drums, rocks, flutes and guitars. Meanwhile, sacrificial dancers will carry feathers, flutes and perform yun and die dance steps, which are commonly used in traditional Chinese operas. The temple fair takes the following form. According to the lunar calendar, temple fairs are held on March the 23rd, which is the birthday of Mazu, and September the 9th, which is the anniversary of her resurrection. Whenever a new Mazu temple is set up, Representatives from the new temple will hold the statue of Mazu in both hands to take part in the incense ceremony, which is held in the first Mazu temple on Meizhou Island. During this, they collect ashes from the incense there and take them back to the new Mazu temple in order to share the spiritual power of the goddess. Representatives from divisional Mazu temples will pay visits and offer incense to the first Mazu temple on Meizhou Island at regular intervals, following the folk custom that a children returns to her mother's house from time to time. The statue of Mazu will be carried around Meizhou Island and to other divisional Mazu temples in Taiwan, Jinmen, and Macau, and be worshipped by followers. There will be dragon dances, lion dances, wuliang san dances, and sedan chair performances such as baizongjiao and shuadaojiao. Folk customs surrounding Mazu include the following. At traditional festivals, fishermen, farmers, and local residents circulate with Mazu lanterns in the evening. Women from Meizhou Island shape their chignon into the form of a sailing boat and wear a blue upper jacket and black and red trousers to show their homage to Mazu and pray for the safe return of their families. Fishermen voluntarily refrain from fishing around Mazu's birthday so as to reflect the harmony between men and nature. During this process, moving folklore is handed down, such as stories about Mazu's guarding merchant boats, blessing ambassadors, driving out invaders, and eradicating plagues. There exist more than 4,000 archives, district annals, inscriptions on tablets, and murals concerning Mazu. Affinity is one notable feature of the Mazu belief and customs. Embodying the maternal, all-embracing love, Mazu is also intimately known as Mother, Auntie, or Mazu among ordinary people. Mazu belief and customs are continually evolving. For instance, the sacrificial dance was originally attended by just female dancers. Later on, it evolved to include both male and female participants. Floats have been added to the Mazu excursion to perform folk tales about the goddess. Mazu belief and customs are inherited through incense ceremonies, family lines, and folk tales. The priesthood, sacrificial offerings, sacrificial dances, and music are inherited through the tradition of the master-apprentice relationship. Mazu belief and customs have become a connecting tie amongst her followers. They play a unique role in both family and society harmony, as well as all-embracing love. Mazu belief and customs have also become a spiritual homeland for Chinese folk and a public sign of cultural identity amongst Chinese people around the globe. Overseas Chinese build Mazu temples in other areas around the world by residing in harmony amongst the indigenous people. As rapid globalization, industrialization, and urbanization speed up and impact on traditional values, the activity space left for Mazu belief and customs has become relatively smaller. So, the Chinese government is currently adopting more measures to protect Mazu belief and customs. In May 2006, the State Council included Mazu belief and customs in the first group list of national intangible cultural heritages. It also approved the establishment of China's Association of Mazu Cultural Communications. In addition, the Meizhou Island government has applied to set up a cultural ecological conservation area in which academic research will be conducted and many books and documents published. The government will issue public proclamations to allow people to respect special customs within Mazu belief. It will also devote manpower and technical resources to make sure these activities of Mazu belief and customs can be conducted in a conventional way. By that time, vehicles will have been restricted in the area and the use of environmentally friendly vehicles will be encouraged instead. Tourists will also have limited entry to central regions of the area so that Mazu belief and customs will be inherited in an appropriate cultural ecological environment.